so very pumped today to talk to not one, but two esteemed guests in the great sport of bobsleigh and from the great country of the USA. You know, we love talking to Americans on this show and kind of the past and the future of this show, which I don't like saying because that's trying to say that the past isn't involved in the future because he very much is. Two athletes who are helping steer the sport forward in the country, including one a three-time Olympian and Olympic medalist and one who is set to make her debut at the Olympics in just a matter of weeks' time. It is a pleasure to welcome to Off the Podium Chris Fogt and Azaria Hill. Guys, welcome to Off the Podium. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having us. I like that you wore the right, clothing for the interview, so that's perfect.
I try my best to fit in with our guests, basically. You know, I don't quite have an army uniform, so sort of this is sort of where I went a little bit with this one today. But you're both joining us from Austria, which it's how often do people? Like, I've heard people in Austria have to sell T-shirts that say "We have no kangaroos" in Austria because so many Austrians get confused that they are Australians. Like, do you often sometimes go, "Oh, you're going to Australia for the weekend"? Do people confuse that you're going to the wrong country at all?
Yeah, I actually kind of got that question just recently. Somebody was like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "Austria." They're like, "Okay, that's not Australia, right?" I'm like, "No, it's completely different." So yeah, and even when I first entered the sport, I was like, "Wait, Austria, is that the same?" So they're like, "No."
The weather is very different right now. It's snowing outside. We got about a foot of snow over the last 24 hours. I'm sure where you're at right now, there is no snow.
Not at all. We are literally, I think, 4 days away from summer here. And where I am in beautiful, I don't want to say sunny Melbourne because it's very rarely sunny in this city. It's 4 seasons in one day. It's starting to get warmer here. So, we're slowly starting to feel some heat, which always makes it interesting for us watching the Winter Olympics because we're often watching it in February when it's usually quite warm for us. So makes it very unique. But you've both got very unique stories in the sport of bobsled, both similar in some ways as well, both from track and field backgrounds and sort of going through this journey. So I just want to start with both of you telling us sort of your individual journeys as to how you got involved in the sport of bobsled. I'll start with you, Chris, and then we can get into you, Azaria, and we can sort of learn about how you both sort of got involved in this amazing sport.
Perfect. That's a great question that we get quite a bit because no one grows up doing our sport. A bobsled cost, we just bought one. It's $110,000. They weigh 400 to 500 pounds. So it's not something you do with your friends on the, weekend. So I was a track and field athlete in college, got approached by two gentlemen in Utah who were training for the games in 2010 and asked if I wanted to try out. So we typically want athletes, you need to have speed, power, and strength. And I had speed and power. I lacked a lot of strength. Being a track athlete, I was pretty skinny, but they had raw speed and power. Came to a tryout, and that was in 2008. Made the team 2 years later and competed at 3 games.
Crazy to think that you can sort of go from that so quickly and go there and sort of go to the Olympics that way. And I think, Sarah, it's similar in a way to you, if I'm not mistaken, because you were very close to making an Olympics in 2020, but then a little thing happened that you sort of had to pivot to change sports because of a certain virus that maybe took over the world a little bit in that year.
Yeah, so I'm a track athlete. I ran track and field, and I went to UNLV during my COVID year. And so one of the girls that I ran track with, she was in the midst of doing bobsled, trying out and everything. And so ran with her, was on relays with her. And so I had finished track and I was like, okay, like, what do I do now? And so I was like missing it. I've been like about 2 years removed and I'm like, oh, I just missed track. I posted something on Instagram and that same girl, Keisha Love, who's my friend, she was like, would you consider bobsled? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been working out like that. I've been training like that. She's like, just come out to a rookie camp, see if you have like raw potential and see if you like it and we'll go from there. And I'm like, I guess. So I came out to a rookie camp. I did pretty well and then kept getting invited back to the other performance camps and kind of like the rest is history. I made my first World Cup team and now I'm here.
the rapid progression is just insane to think that kind of that transition. Because I mean, look, I can't have bobsled athletes on the show and not bring up Cool Runnings. I mean, it's just natural, but like it fits in so well with that narrative in that movie that they're getting track stars to go into bobsleigh. So as much as that is a fictional telling of a very famous story, there's obviously some truth to a lot of going there. I mean, is that both of your familiarity was with the sport was simply with Cool Runnings?
For me, especially because I'm a little bit older, that movie came out when I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. So I saw it. I love that show. And it really was. That's kind of how I thought about it. If I could be good at track, you're basically sprinting on ice, but you have to push a bobsled. But it translates very, very well. And I would say our women's team, about 90% of our athletes come from track and field.
Yeah, I remember I've seen Cool Runnings. I used to watch that, and then also I would watch the Olympics with my parents, my family, and so summer and winter, we love it all. We're very athletic, and so I remember seeing like bobsled come on TV and all the other winter sports. So I was a little bit familiar with it.
Well, I want to hope you're familiar with the Olympics area based on your family. I mean, it kind of is also, if you want to talk about family businesses, I would assume that the Olympics possibly is that in your family. Your parents are quite prominent Olympians, Olympic medalists. You've got an aunt as well. I mean, you sort of grow up in that environment. I guess you can't escape the Olympics, can you?
Yeah, I did grow up in that environment. So, I was surrounded by that and just athletics and, I don't know anything else but kind of like that. But excellence has always been, the standard. And so, growing up, I'm like, oh, I want to be like my mom. I want to be like my aunt. I want to become an Olympian. And so I thought it would be in track, but it just so happens that it'll might be in bobsled. So that's the goal. And I'm really excited for the process and just to keep continuing competing this season and trying to make that Olympic team.
The similarities too, I think, in your careers, I both sort of saw your interviews where you both explained your first time in a bobsled, and it kind of almost seems similar that both first times you're both like, what is this? I don't want to do it. But then second time you got in, it was sort of like, okay, no, I'm going to give this a go. I mean, Chris, I saw your great little piece that the Olympic Channel did on you, and you sort of explained about it, and then how you were like, no, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm in the army. I'm jumping out of helicopters and planes. I'm going to give this another go. I mean, sort of like, can you both imagine if maybe you had given up after that first go? I mean, you obviously wouldn't be here, I'm guessing, right now. But I mean, what was it about the second go that sort of bit the bug for you both?
Yeah, I think for me, because I think that was the biggest misconception is you watch it on TV and it looks so smooth. It looks so gentle and easy, but there's no Zamboni that smooths out the ice. It's guys with like a roller chisel because it's so steep and so big. So when you're in there and you're just getting vibrated down this track and hitting 5 to 6 Gs, you can't really prepare for it. I mean, everyone tells you about it, but you get in the sled and you're halfway down. You're like, I made a terrible decision trying the sport. But then you wake up the next morning and you're a little sore, like, it really wasn't that bad. And then eventually after 2, 3, 12 runs or so, you fall in love with the speed and the violence and the noise. And it's just awesome.
Yeah, it was when I first went down, I'm like, this is an acquired taste. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm like, I already invested my time, energy, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it out, see it through. And so we had our first World Cup race in Le Plan, France, and I was like, I went down my first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fun. This feels good. It's not bumpy, and Lake Placid is naturally a bumpy track, whether it's the ice is good or not, and so. Me experiencing my first track overseas, I was like, oh, this is fun. I can do this. I can hang in this sport. And so all the other tracks in Europe, I feel like are smooth. They feel good. They're definitely different. But my first experience was Lake Placid, and I was like, I don't know about this.
I always love hearing sort of that first time, because it's not like, Chris, you touched on at the sort of beginning there. It's not really sport you just pick up on the weekend. It's not track where you can just go to a track and do a lap. You've got to, build yourself up to a point where eventually you get into a sled. And I sort of always love hearing about that. And you both break man, break woman. I mean, the technicalities here, please correct me at any point here, Azaria, with the way it goes there. But I always like to sort of talk about the different positions in a bobsleigh, because to me, I see that as your very important role. You've got to stop the sled. But for the majority of that run, after you do the run, you've got your head in someone's butt basically for 50 odd seconds. So I can also imagine that that's not a pleasant experience when you're trying to experience the feeling of a sled the first time, because you're not actually seeing anything. You're like, what's going on in front of me?
No. And I think that's a great point. I think one of the reasons it makes it so unnerving is that you get in a sled, and again, if we could drive it down, you could steer, but you don't know what to expect. And all of a sudden you're being thrown left and right because you don't know the track yet and you can't see anything. Your face is being buried in the ground. You're just praying that you don't crash.
Yeah.
And thankfully, when I came into the sport, I've been in all of our really we have great sleds. We have a great sled mechanic named Mark Vanderberg. And, I've been in nothing but the best. So it's been comfortable rides. I have great pilots. So it's been a really nice experience for my first 3 years so far.
Is it a case of when you get into the sport and you're either being recruited or sort of however you sort of go about it, that you're targeted as a brake person, or was there any opportunity for both of you to think at looking at being a pilot? Chris, obviously you've got the 4-man, so you've got the 2nd and 3rd man in the sled as well. Sort of what basically draws you into becoming the brake man in your sleds?
Yeah. So for me, I guess it's the fastest transition. So being a pilot, so you can come in your first year or two as a brakeman and make the games as a good athlete because you're just the meat and the muscle behind the sled. Obviously, being a pilot, you have to steer the thing down the track. So for me, I was already in the Army at the time, and I knew that's what I wanted to do full time. Mm-hmm. And so I knew I really couldn't commit for 8 to 10 years of driving a bobsled. So for me, I knew I would always be on the brakes. I still, to this day, have never been in the driver's seat.
Oh, wow. Never given it a go. Crazy.
No, because I knew I just didn't have the time to give it. And I actually want to now, although now my wife...
I was going to say, surely you want to. Surely you want to be tempted to give it a go.
I do. I probably will now one of these days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In March?
Maybe in March.
You got time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I came in as a brakeman. I feel like most athletes that come into bobsled, they come in as brakemen and then they do brakeman stuff for a couple years and then they transition into being a pilot. And I honestly feel like being a brakeman first is really important before becoming a pilot, because then you get to know what it's like in the back of the sled. And so then when you do become a pilot and you do become that leader, you're able to guide other brakemen and people who come in like, hey, this is what it feels like I've been there before and this is what to expect. So thankfully I came in and I had just great mentors and great teachers. And so and I might be trying to drive and see what it's like, just to see what it feels like.
And it's obviously different we'll see. But obviously the female side of things where you've got the monobob and the 2-woman versus where obviously the men have the 2-man and the 4-man, which I just want to say, as I always say with bobsledders, we should be equal. Shouldn't we have a monobob for the men and a 4-woman for the women? Why can't we have 3 on each? I don't get it. But it's obviously the difference there for Azaria, because you've got that opportunity if you want to obviously go on a monobob. You kind of need to be a pilot. You can't also just sit in the back, can you? So I guess that makes it that pathway a little bit more open potentially for female athletes in the sport.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a lot more opportunities for the pilot on the women's side than it really is for the brakeman. We only have the one discipline, which is 2 women. But I just see a lot of the great pilots, they've definitely been brakemen first and kind of paid their dues and their time doing that. And now they're great pilots. So, and I have a lot of great examples. I got Alana Myers-Taylor. I got Kaylee Humphreys. I got Aisha Love, who's up and coming, budding pilot. So, it's I can see that it's definitely possible. So that's very encouraging.
Got to talk about team love eventually. Don't worry, we'll get there. I'm excited to. I love that sort of stuff. But you touched on the Army aspect, and the thing that just blows my mind about just the amazing scope of the Army in the US and everything along those lines is you have this program within the Army to help develop athletes. It's just it's insane to me that this exists, and obviously you're both still serving in the Army. How helpful is that? Because obviously it's a pretty grueling career to join the Army, with not a lot of time to go off and do things like bobsleigh. So I can imagine that helps you with both your career ambitions to not only serve your country in the military, but also serve your country in sport. So, I mean, how helpful is that?
Yeah, I mean, joining the Army is super helpful, especially with my aspirations to be an Olympian and to, focus on my training. It really allows me, this program, WCAP, World Class Athlete Program, really allows me to, be able to focus 100% on my training, be able to, have a steady income and, support myself and just have benefits. And so, yeah, we have a lot of resources. We have nutrition, we have nutritionists, we have physical therapy. We literally have everything, like anything that I could need or want, like it's covered. So that's like super beneficial when trying to make a team, trying to go to the Olympics. And I feel like this will be honestly like my best season that I ever had, just because like I have those resources. I don't have to worry. I can really just like focus and give 100% of myself to, bobsledding training and just being the best that I can be.
And Chris, can I just jump in before you sort of say as well that through your career, you were going to an Olympics, then you were going off and serving in Iraq, then you were going to another Olympics. I mean, it's insane that I was reading just everything that you've sort of done in your career. And obviously, you're now coaching the team, which we'll get to, but obviously your background in the military, you're sort of high up enough that you're also very used to coaching and training and sort of, being in control. So I guess it's been this incredible journey for you with the military at the same time as your career that it sort of helped you in both sides, I can imagine.
No, you're exactly right. I think that's one of the good things about the Army and the World Class Athlete Program is you can really, one helps the other one. So you have to be in great shape. You have to be a great leader. You have to kind of want to do some kind of crazy things. So all these things go very well hand in hand. And even from Azaria, what I've seen with her is just the mental toughness that she gained from her first year as a rookie to where she is now. I think just having her go through basic training, all the training that she went through, I'll kind of throw her under the bus a little bit. Azaria had never slept outside before. I'd never gone days without, showering and not having hot meals. So now when we're on tour, we're a very outdoor blue collar type sport where we're out in the cold for hours every day. We don't always get those meals and we're traveling around to each new stop. And I've seen her grow and develop a lot more this last year. I think her joining the Army and going through those schools has definitely made her a mentally stronger person, which has now translated in her being very, very successful in this sport.
Which I love hearing that level. And one thing that I also love so much is just how time structured you would be being in the military, because in that same Olympic Channel piece, Chris, the fact that every time you're talking about a time, it's 24-hour time. It's like, I'm up at 05:30. We're going to bed at 17. Like I love structure and I love time and I love all that sort of stuff. So I think that obviously would probably help a lot. I've been just jumping ahead a bit because I'm going to get to sort of what you achieved at the Olympics, Chris, in a moment. But when you come back from Sochi and you go back to your job and you're back to the Army and you're back to that sort of stuff, what's it like all of a sudden just having an Olympic medal? Like, I mean, does that sort of, do other soldiers treat you a little bit differently, like give you a bit of lip now, what's going on here? Or is it sort of, still very respectful? Because I can imagine that makes it a little bit interesting, particularly that first day back probably after Sochi.
No, you're exactly right. I think it's definitely a unique. That's one of the cool things about being in the Army, though, and why I think the program is so important, because it is very cool once they found out that I went to the games. That's a person that they get to train with and, camp with and run with and go on field training exercises, that has someone that has competed at that highest level of sport. But I do get challenged a lot to race. So in the Army, you went to the Olympics, you ran track and field. So I have these young 18, 19-year-old, privates that always wanted to race. And that was always fun. It was a little harder as I got older into my career, started to get a little bit older in age. But I still have not lost yet.
That was good. I was going to ask, did you ever lose? So, I mean, answer that question.
No, I have not lost. And I leave that challenge out there. I could probably still beat most of them now.
Could you beat Azaria? Have you tried? Have you both had a race against each other or?
Now I did not want to race her, but now I might, have to.
You put it out there, so I'm going to have to turn the phone now.
Just saying. I mean, see what color medal you come home with in a few months, and then maybe it gets a bit more interesting, right? Like, because then you can be like, well, coach, look at this color. That trops your color.
I've got a gold now. You got a silver.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, the unique thing, Chris, you might be the first athlete I think we've ever had on this show as an Olympic medalist who've had their medal color change from the initial medal that you did win, because you, of course, did actually win the bronze in Sochi, which obviously an achievement itself, but it later gets bumped up to silver based on a certain country's interesting, program that they may have had over the years. I want to get back to the race eventually, but I've always wondered what happens in that process. You get the news, you're being bumped up to silver. Do you get a phone call from like the US Olympic Committee or the IOC going like, congratulations, Chris, you are now an Olympic silver medalist. By the way, we need your bronze medal back so we can swap it over. Like what happens there?
You just hit the nail on the head. It was somewhat anticlimactic because we mailed in our bronze.
You mailed it in.
Later we mailed it in, and then we got it. We got the upgraded one in the mail.
What? In the mail? Wow.
Yeah. So they mailed. That being said, they did hold an event for us in California where they did present it to us at a formal event.
Yep.
Yeah. You mail that one back, and it's a little different because you have all your pictures from the moment wearing that one, and all of a sudden you get this one. It was 4 or 5 years later. It was 2019.
Yeah.
So it was 2018 and 2019, but it's kind of weird. Now you have this, obviously you're still attached to it. I'm glad we got upgraded because of that country that cheated for a long, long time.
Yep.
But it's definitely a weird feeling because you look back at all the old photos and kind of have a little bit of attachment. And then all of a sudden one day it's like, mail this thing back. Something you worked for your whole life, you dream about, and all of a sudden it's in the mail.
What?
And so
it's incredible. Like, I would like to know what would happen if you didn't send it back. Like, no, bugger it. I won this medal just because I get an upgrade because of the cheats. Like, surely I can just keep. It's like, what are they going to do with the? I mean, do they just give the same ones to the Brits, or do they get brand new ones? I don't know. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I would suspect the Russians who took first.
Yeah,
I highly doubt they mailed back in their gold medals. I'm going to go on a limb and say they did not, but that's a very
what are they going to do? Ban
question.
them? I mean, they're already banned. So, I mean, like, I don't think you've got the IOC sending out the IOC police going, knock, knock, knock. You haven't given us your gold. You're going to IOC jail. Like,
exactly.
I don't think that works. Exactly. But because it is obviously, it's a terrible situation that you find yourself in, that you can't have that moment to sort of, as you're saying, like, celebrate the achievement of what ultimately is a silver medal, not a bronze medal, and all of those kind of those things as well. But the ceremony itself obviously is not quite the same as what it is, but it's, I'm sure, nice to have a little moment where you can come together, celebrate the moment, even if it's after all these years and not quite at the Olympics, but to kind of have that, because you sort of remain in touch with the guys as well over the years, and sort of, was it almost like a bit of a, reunion, of course, at the time when you get the medals?
It was. And I mean, one sad thing though, our pilot, Holcomb, so Steve Holcomb had actually passed away at that point. So it was, his parents were there and his sisters were there, which we'd obviously known for a long time. So it was great to have that reunion, but it's also even more obnoxious that people cheat in sport and they have to take things away, because he did not get to experience that either. So it was a little bit, in a lot of ways, we felt kind of cheated, and it was kind of a, sad experience, but obviously in a lot of ways we came together with his parents there. It was great that they finally did the right thing.
Zara, I promise I'm not ignoring you. We are going to talk about you and talk more about what's happening here at the moment. But the other thing I just wanted to touch on you, Chris, with that sort of whole situation in Sochi is, again, the Olympic Channel video. I love sort of you telling that story of when you cross the line and you realize you've got a medal because you crashed in Vancouver in your first Olympics, and sort of you went through the details about what your emotions feeling there, but got quite emotional in that video and sort of just telling about that story. So, I mean, just that moment at the time being bronze and sort of everything about that. I mean, is that still to this day, outside of getting married and having beautiful children, sort of like the peak of your career and life, I guess, essentially at that time?
Yeah, as a coach now, I don't want to rehash it because I don't want to get emotional in front of.
We're just trying to make you cry, Chris. That's what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
It's a safe place.
No, but it still is. I mean, again, because you having crashed, and then at that time we won a bronze medal by 3 hundreds of, over 4 miles of ice, the smallest margin of victory. And I just remember being on that dock and just thinking about every workout, the year that I spent in Iraq, and just the amount of time and effort. I'm getting a little emotional now, but just that reward of just knowing that I had given everything I had over those 4 years, and it all was, worth it.
What do you do with the medal? Now that it's nice and silver, not bronze, is it on display? Does it sort of come out and sort of go to talks, show it to your athlete, show it to Azaria, like, this is what you can get. You can get a better color than this. This is only crappy silver. Like, what do you sort of do with it after all these years?
It largely sits at home. I take it to my kid's school about once or twice. Being in the Army, I have my kid's in 3rd grade, and he's been to 4 different schools. So it makes for a good, a talking point. But yeah, mostly now as I've gotten older and further away removed from it, it largely sits in a drawer next to my bed. But I do pull it out from time to time, and it's obviously a great memento to have.
It's a beautiful medal too, the Sochi one, sort of with that little crystal like
nice
window sort of. And as I always say at this point, I promise I don't ask these questions because I'm not secretly trying to rob all our guests. Like, where's the medal? I'm going to break into your house. I particularly wouldn't do it with you guys because I don't think I'm going to get far. It's not going to happen that way. And I just also want to point out in 2014, I think that was the first time, wasn't it, since 1968 that Germany were not on the podium in the 4-man bobsled. And I'm not here to shit all over the Germans because I love the Germans, but they've got to stop dominating the sliding sports. Let's give other people a chance. So let's celebrate the fact that for one Olympics, there was no German sled on the podium, right?
Glad you brought that up and throw a little bit, because they've been so dominant for so long. It is nice to remind them they did not win in men's or women's bobsled, actually. Yeah. 0 medals in 2014. Which at the end of the day, then they go and basically sweep the podium, except for Kayla in Beijing. So, Let's not talk about that. Let's keep focused on 2014 and 2026, all right? Yes. Good segue with that, Chris. I like that. Azaria, sort of when you came into the program, do you remember your first meeting with Chris? Were you familiar? Were you a little girl watching him winning the Olympics? Be honest here. Was he on your wall, posters, celebrating his achievements and all of that?
Oh man. Well, when I first came in, I actually had met a different coach. It was Colonel Hines, and they had kind of like brought in all the rookies, development people. And then I remember Keisha telling me like, oh, just wait, like Coach Chris, like he's great. You're going to love him. And I'm like, who is that? And then finally he came to one of the performance camps or something like that. Yeah. And I met him for the first time, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is interesting. And then I just saw the way that he operated, very structured, like very detailed and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I like this. It's like reminds me of track and just, the structure and like having a purpose for everything and stuff like that. And so, I was like, okay, yeah, I really, really like this. This is going to be good. And so, I kind of just went from there, and like, we have a good like athlete coach relationship. And so, I'm able to come to Coach Phil and be like, okay, what do I need to work on, or what do I need to do here? And, he'll break it down, or he has a literal like spreadsheet for us to, go over film and go over things. And he's very structured with time where we need to be at, right uniform, right place.
That makes me happy.
And so, I really like that because I'm a very structured person too. And so it's nice to like have that and just be on top of things. It definitely makes us not only better as people, but like better as a team as a whole. This is why more people in the military should be athletes, because I just feel it works. Like it's a structured life being an athlete. So like it's a structured life being in the military, and more spreadsheets. We spoke to a lot of ski mountaineers recently, and a lot of them are like accountants and people like that, and they've got spreadsheets, and it makes me happy. It gives me goosebumps. Like I want more of that. Love it. We definitely need more of that. Yeah. Well, that's one of the unique things is, obviously I coach the Army athletes, but I also coach the entire team as well. So I kind of try and bring that structure, and we still use military time and all of my texts, so that all the athletes, whether you're in the Army or not, have to get used to that scale. And it's been very interesting. Which, Chris, just on that, sort of what was it about coaching that drew you to it? Because you did go to Pyeongchang as well. We should add that, obviously a triple Olympian, but was it always a goal for you to switch into the coaching side of things once your own athletic career was over? Yeah, I definitely had it on my mind. Again, being in the Army, I've led, lots of times, had some opportunities, some very cool things. And the program
kind of was going through a transition period in 2022. And I think they needed some different viewpoints and some different leadership. And so it was offered to me, and I thought about it. And I thought the transition went well, and it definitely goes well with the military. It's not something I really wanted to do, I don't think, when I left the sport, because it's long days, long travel, a lot going on. But I think just how much the sport has provided me as a person, I definitely wanted to give back and give these amazing athletes the opportunity to excel and be the best versions of themselves.
And before we sort of get to Azaria, where you're at right now and sort of how it's tracking ahead of Milano, just in general, US bobsled, just the overall team, Chris, I mean, coming off Beijing, the women carrying the load, of course, with the medals. Men's terrible. They've got to get better. Joking. But like, where are we at? Do you feel sort of overall when it comes to that tracking into Milano Cortina?
Yeah, the great thing is we just finished our event this last week. So we were just in Cortina about a week ago, and our women took 2, 3, and 6 in the 2-man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In mono, we were 2, and 4, and the men's team took 5th. So where we were a couple of years ago and where we're at now, we definitely risen to the challenge, and we're very confident and just relentlessly in the pursuit of winning and sweeping all 3 like the Germans have in the past. And we're poised and ready right now to be very successful at the games here in 2026. And it's a lot of thanks to the athletes like Azaria here, and she's doing a phenomenal job. Just had top 2 at the start and came down in a medal spot here.
Which I was going to ask about that because, I'll get to the track obviously in just a moment. But yeah, second on the weekend at the time of recording this in the opening World Cup as well. So a good way to kind of start. So as this season is now just beginning and we're tracking towards those Olympics, pretty decent place to start, getting second at the beginning at the Olympic track, right? That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, no, that was really exciting. I know like there's one thing or 2 things that I can control with the run is the start and braking correctly at the end. And so, my goal every time for a start is to get a start record, push my pilot, as fast as I can. And so, I was telling Coach Fogt and some of the other coaches, like, okay, I'm going for the start record. Like whoever gets the start record here, like they got that until the Olympics. And so that was pretty much my goal, and, trying to be close with the Germans and stuff like that. And so this weekend went really well. And yeah, I was excited to have a top 2 finish.
Yeah. And you were telling a little bit off air about the track, because you are the first athlete we've had on from any of the sliding sports who has actually raced at this track, because as I was saying to you off air, we didn't think it was going to get finished at one point. But tell us about the track, like, feels good. I mean, is Keisha talking it up as well? You said it was a bit technical, this circuit, so obviously a lot of people are excited for it.
Yes, I feel like this track is a very unique track. It's its own thing. It's kind of hard to compare it to other tracks, but it does, to me, feel really good. Like it feels smooth. I can feel the different curves. There's some areas that feel a little different, like you feel a little bit of weightlessness, but overall, like it's not that hard on the body of the brakeman in the back. Like it feels really, really good. Like you could take multiple runs. And the one thing I just heard from multiple pilots is that it's very technical. So they have to have clean runs. They got to drive really good. But the start and the driving matters there. So yeah, I really like the track a lot. I think it'll definitely be one of my favorite tracks on the circuit.
You say feel weightless. I don't think I've ever heard somebody quite describe that before, that you feel a level of weightlessness. Is that common that you feel that in certain tracks?
It's not common. Normally you kind of feel weightlessness when you're about to crash. I have crashed a couple times, but that's that little bit of uneasy feeling, because you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I feel this weightlessness. Are we about to crash? But no, it's just part of the track. And so, that's why I say like it's very unique. It is different, but it does feel smooth to me. It feels really nice. So I like it.
I watched your second run, and the thing I got to ask, I love seeing you in the background there, Chris, pumping the girls up before they go down the track. But tell me about the little routine that you and Keisha have. I don't want to try and replicate it, but it's kind of like a little handshake, and then it's almost just like, I don't know what that is. It's like a whip or something like that. Get ready. What is that?
You go ahead and do it.
Do it together. Demonstrate.
2 taps. You come up and then snap.
Yeah.
But every pilot has their own thing that they do before, they get on the line. And for Keisha Love, it's her signature snap. And so who's ever with her in the back as a brakeman, that's what we do before we start. And then you push the sled out and you get ready, and then you go. And so that's just kind of her thing. And it's fun.
It works. And then you get to be called Team Love. I mean, that is like the best
I know. What a stellar last name, right?
Right? Like, I mean, if I'm German, I'm scared of that, because it's like, not only is it like, I know you're just happy and having fun, but it's also daunting because, like, I mean, I don't know, like it just helps. Like, I mean, do you just team up with Keisha because she's got the best name that you can be Team Love, basically?
No, crazy enough, in a World Cup, the coaches pick our pairings. So, the athletes don't really choose that. Coaches put the best pairings together that they feel is going to work. And I mean, I love being on Keisha's sled. It's always fun. And, it's nice being Team Love for that week or 2 weeks, or, whenever I'm on sled. So, yeah,
it works. And Chris, you mean back in the day, you were part of the night train team, right? So that was sort of the moniker of Team USA. So I love these names. Like it's daunting. It works, right? Like I love it.
It does. I think you feel you're kind of in the hands of that sled and that pilot. I think you need to have a relationship or something with that sled just to feel a part of it, because your life is kind of in their hands.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say this out there. You sort of, in the monobob, if you're in there, Azaria, you're kind of competing against me, because Bree has famously named her sled Ben. I've made her name her sled Ben. So I finished fifth in Beijing. I just want to point that out. Not wanting to beat great Team USA, but secretly we also want to beat Team USA because Australia's never won a medal in bobsleigh. So, it could be history. So.
Well, if you saw at the test event, I think Bree took third, right?
She did.
Yeah, she took third this last weekend.
Yeah. So, and the great thing that we find in this country is that obviously winter sports don't generally get a lot of attention except for the Winter Olympics every 4 years. But given people like Bree are doing pretty well outside of an Olympic cycle, it's starting to slowly filter into our news over here that, she is doing well outside of shows like this. So obviously, we're excited, and we got a silver medal in skeleton, thanks to Jackie back in Beijing. So we got one sliding medal, and we're hopeful for more. So we'll see how that pushes out. But just in terms of, obviously, it's a complicated process qualifying in any winter sport, bobsleigh in particular. But now that the season started, Azaria, is it just a simple case of for you getting results like this, tracking with the points and everything that comes with it, and sort of being very hopeful that if I was to speak to you in a few months' time, I'm going to be able to say, here we go, Olympian, you're officially, you've been and got the medal, of course, hopefully as well.
Right now it's just doing very well at the start with whichever pilot that I'm with, and, just keeping the trajectory going forward. And, hopefully towards the end of season, when our committee gets together to choose the Olympic team, I'll be one of the brakemen chosen. But that is definitely, my goal is to be the best. That's always been my goal, and to push whichever pilot that I'm with fast. And if I can continue to do that, then you'll definitely be seeing more of me. You will be seeing me in February trying to get that start record.
Exactly. That's what we want to see. I mean, just a question for both of you on that. Like, Chris, I'll ask you with this first, being the coach and sort of how do you guys sort of choose who is the best pilot with the best brake woman? Like, does it come down to what you're seeing on the World Cup? But if all of a sudden Azaria is doing so well that she might pair with a different pilot, like, how do you come up with that decision? And Azaria, I'll ask you, do you then push to Chris and the coaching panel like, hey, no, I want to be with Keisha. We work better. Like, our connection works better. Like, how do you sell that then to be with a certain person?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's kind of some art to it. And there's, we also try and look at a bunch of data to see who pairs well, who has good results. Unfortunately, we have 7 races before the Olympic team is named. Mm-hmm. So we can kind of try out some different things and use some trial and error and a lot of the data we've gotten throughout this past season. Obviously, a few of them want to race with certain people, so I have to take that into account too. But one of the hardest parts of being a coach, I got right now on tour, we have 24 athletes. Trying to keep 24 athletes happy is not the easiest thing to do, but I try and be as transparent and fair as possible. So the use of data and spreadsheets and watching film review is we try and make it as transparent as we can. But again, she's performed very well. She keeps on the current trajectory she's on. There's no doubt that she'll be on the team here our team is named January 20th.
Wow. That's so close. Does that make it nerve-wracking? I just get scared for our winter athletes that you get chosen so late. It's like 2 weeks away from the Olympics. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking. But you just have to put your best foot forward, like in everything that you do. I feel like how you do one thing is how you do all things. And they do allow us to have some athlete input, and they do take that into account. But at the end of the day, like Coach Fogt said, they have the data, numbers don't lie. And so if I'm always consistently pushing, start rank 1, start rank 2, start rank 3, that's a good look for me. So if I can just continue to do that every race that I have, then hopefully I can make that team. But yeah, that's honestly the goal. That's always been the goal.
What would that mean to you though, Azaria? Like to get that official confirmation that, jokes aside, carrying the family legacy, it literally is a family legacy, but, to achieve that dream of becoming an Olympian?
Man, that would be huge. That would be like amazing, like a dream fulfilled. But I mean, just me making the team wouldn't be enough. Like, yes, that's a huge accomplishment. That's a goal for me, but I want to medal. I want to be on the podium. I want to be the best of the best. So, even if when I do get named to the team, because I'm going to speak that into existence.
Good.
When I do get named to the team, it's like, okay, I got named to the team. I'm an Olympian. Okay, cool. But now it's really time to hone in on the work and, keep pushing and just making sure that I'm dialed in and locked in for when those races come to, perform well and podium with the pilot that I'm with.
And I know I'm about to ask a question that I know the answer to, which I love asking these ones because it makes my job easier, Chris. But obviously, I'm going to assume you back up everything that she's saying there, and that besides the obvious fact she's going to make the Olympics, but you obviously believe that she's very capable of medaling in Milano Cortina.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw it this last weekend, and then she's got a start record in Norway. She's set start records in the past. She's one of our best push athletes, and historically from the United States, we've had great push athletes. And so again, she keeps doing what she's currently doing. There's no doubt that she will be in that top 3 here soon.
I love hearing these competitive nature about start records. So how many start records do you hold, Azaria? Like how many do you know that you hold?
I have 1 start record from Lillehammer, Norway in my first season.
Wow.
And that is with Keisha.
Wow.
Keisha Love. So
that.
That was really cool.
She almost had one this past weekend. She was 200th off.
One.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you can do it at the Olympics. That's where it matters, right? That's kind of where you want to have that. And Chris, I was reading, do you still hold the US record for the fastest push time in Calgary House? Is that something you still hold?
It's something I still own and I'm still very proud of, and I hope no one ever beats it.
I just love seeing these stats. It goes back to just being, structured and having these all sort of things there, and just these little things that you can be, I guess, competitive in. Because I guess bobsleigh is not really a sport where there's a world record, is there? Because there's like so many different tracks with different bits. So I guess you look at the push start times as almost that closest thing you can have to some level of a world record. It
absolutely is. Yes. There's like she said, there's a start record for each track, and there's a world, and then there's the ice houses that we have. We can kind of push on ice. And so there's a couple different places. But yeah, it's kind of like our track and field, the fastest person in the 100 meters at each track. So every track has its own little record holder.
I love that. You can come to Australia and set an Australian track. We don't have one. We can build you one, and then you can just,
you can build one, and that'd be great.
As I keep saying, the Brisbane 2032 Olympics are in our winter. So they technically are a winter Olympics. So we should be pushing for more winter sports. We can get bobsleigh in the Brisbane 2032 Olympics, and then you'll have an extra bobsleigh in between 2030 and 2034, right? Leading into Salt Lake in 2034 are home games for you guys. So it would help you.
You are onto something there. That's actually a really great idea. I'm going to try and get that worked out. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it helps the Aussie sliding athletes too, but if it helps you guys, we help each other out, right? We like each other. That's how it works. We're going to get to some get to know you questions in just a moment, but I've got to ask Flavor Flav, team hype man for the US bobsled team. Like, do you have to like get on the phone to Mr. Flav and be like, hey guys, you know, like how does this work? How do you get a hype man? And what is he doing anything right now? Or does he just rock up in Milano Cortina and be like, hey guys, I'm here, let's go?
That's a good question.
I'll let you start with this one. To his credit, he is a phenomenal hype man. He came out to Park City for 4 or 5 days. He was turned on the entire time.
Wow.
His saying, he went down from the top. He went down from halfway down. He rode a skeleton sled. He was doing all the right things. He came to a couple of events.
Yeah.
And he is hyped all the time. So he's a great hype man to have. He was on Dancing with the Stars a couple weeks ago, so he's not here with us right now, but I'm sure we'll cross paths with him again here in the next month or so.
Wow.
But
yeah, he
he's
definitely did mention he was an adrenaline junkie, and he got all of that in Park City. So he really enjoyed it. It was really cool to have him out there and just, support us, hype us up, and just be there.
I don't know. Like, do you need hyping up? Like, it seems like you guys are always so hyped up at the start. I feel like he's chosen the wrong sport. Like maybe curling. Go hype the curlers up. I don't know. But like, you always seem to be hyped up in bobsleigh.
In bobsled, you can't have enough hype.
Right. Yeah. A little extra gets it. That would have given me my .02.
Yeah, there you go. You'll get the record thanks to Flavor Flav. You'll be like, thanks, mate.
For sure.
There you go.
That's the thing about bobsled at the start. It is such a violent, aggressive, loud sport at the top. And again, for those few sports, especially being on the brakes, being a pilot, you have to kind of keep yourself controlled. You have to drive the thing down. But as a brakeman, you can just lose your mind and push extremely fast. Then you kind of, pop in and your work is almost done. That's one of the things I love about the sport. It's just so aggressive and violent and awesome.
I love hearing that. And it's also, I love the style and the way that, like, obviously he was involved with the water polo team in Paris. But the thing that I loved, like, particularly say with the NBC side of things in Paris was getting people like Snoop Dogg involved. I mean, when I was in Paris, I think I was at 2 events and I saw him there, like, and just people just, you knew he was there. So you got like a little bit more excited with that sort of stuff. So I just love the way they're doing it. And it also, I can imagine, helps people back home get involved too, because I mean, obviously winter sports are a lot bigger in the US than they are in Australia, but I still can imagine you're not getting that attention that some of the summer athletes are getting for the Summer Olympics as well. So, I mean, these type of things with Flavor Flav, Snoop Dogg, these type of things obviously help that exposure so you guys can get a little bit more attention in a month that is obviously quite dominated by a certain sporting event every year in February, of course, in the US as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good that it helps bring awareness and, just more of a spotlight to our sport and more people aware and just seeing us, do what we do on the ice. So
yeah, I think your point too, Ben. I think just with the, coming out of COVID, the 2020 or 2021 games, then 22, it definitely, the game just kind of felt a little bit different when there weren't fans there and there wasn't a lot of hype. People weren't traveling to it. So I thought they did a phenomenal job in Paris in sports has always merged like entertainment and music with athletes. I thought Paris did a great job of that. I think, Flavor Flav is going to help us do that here in 2026.
I hope to see him when I'm there. I'm saying off air that I've got tickets at least in the mono box.
If you're around,
yeah, I'm hoping.
Let us know. We'll hook it up for you.
Definitely will. And Zara, the family, they've all got their, accommodations booked for Italy. Have they found places there? Because it's bloody hard to find stuff going on there in the mountains there in Cortina, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they're definitely looking. They want to come out and support me. They're super, super excited because, I will be the first one to do Winter Olympics. So in my family. So, they're super excited. They want to come. They want to see. It's just tough because we're waiting for the team to be named, but they're definitely looking, knowing where to go so that when the time comes, they can, come be out here and support and just be a part of all the stuff.
You know what she's saying there, Chris? She's saying Coach, select the team. Tell me now so that mom and dad can book their Airbnb. All right, come on, tick,
Coach
tick.
knows the dream team. Coach knows the dream team.
And I know her mom pretty well because she was at basic training. Her mom called me a few times to make sure that Specialist Hill was doing all right at basic training.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So,
right.
There's got to get pressure from her and her family to kind of find out what the, story
now
is
Australian
here.
podcast is giving you pressure, Chris. Like, come on, selector.
A lot of pressure there, all right?
Make the team. Come on, let's do it. We close out every chat with a set of get to know you. So I'm excited for this because the first time I think we've ever had two people on at once that I get to ask at the same time. So I'm pumped for this. The one thing that you never leave home without when traveling to a competition, and you're not either allowed to say a bobsled because, you kind of need a bobsled at a competition.
Oh, never leave home without when traveling to a competition. I mean, helmet, ice bikes, unless you want something more unique.
More you like, so we've got the second question kind of ties in, but like if you got like, I don't know, a lucky pair of socks or like something that kind of works along those lines of things. I mean, Chris, obviously, you're not competing anymore, but maybe back in the day when you were, did you have something as well?
No, even as a coach, I have, I don't want to say this because I do wash my clothes, but I wear the same sweatshirt. I have two sweatshirts. I wear one on one day and one on the other day to every single race. If you see, I wear a jacket on top of underneath that jacket, I have the same sweatshirt on for each race.
Sweatshirt, all right.
That I do wash throughout the season.
Did you know that? Is that the first time you're hearing that, or?
Yes, that is the first time. I didn't know that.
That's why he smells all the time.
Well, the good thing that you didn't know was the same sweatshirt because I clearly don't smell. All right.
Right.
True.
Well I think for me, always on like race day, I'm all blacked out. Like I have to wear like the black top with the black tights, black socks. Because for me, I just feel like black just means business. Like
means business.
I don't know. I'm here to put down the gauntlet.
Yeah. Get those records.
Yeah.
Beat the Germans. All right. That's
yes.
What's the old chant they used to do? Beat LA. Can we start like a big chant at the Olympics of like beat Germany? Like, is that a thing we can start? I mean, I might need to come in a little bit more, succinct than that. That doesn't sound too good, but we'll come up with a chant.
Beat Germany.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah. There we go. Big chant. Everybody with their cowbells as they're going down the line. Flavor Flav. There you go. You start that.
Hype folks up.
Hype it up. You can bring it into a song. A traditional superstition. I mean, it sort of ties into that question in a weird way. Traditional superstition you follow before every big competition. Is it the sweatshirt? Is it wearing the black, or do you have something else that you do beforehand?
It's definitely wearing the black for me.
Okay. Yep.
I do it for every race.
Do you have to like I know some people have to say a hockey player will have to tap the goals beforehand. Like, do you have to tap the sled or do anything along those sort of lines before you get in at all?
Yeah. For me, when I am getting ready to do get in my stance, after I do the snap, the signature snap or whatever that pilot's signature is, I always push the sled out once in front of me. Okay. And then I get into my stance.
That works. Chris, did you have a snap? Did you have something that you used to do back in the day?
We had a little, handshake that we did. And I used to hit the sled twice, kind of the same thing, pull it back and forth. Now as a coach, I just try and give them all a quick little pregame speech. I get pretty emotional and fired up sometimes, so I have to kind of cool it down a little bit, but I try and give them all a kind of little speech and try and give them a little boost before they push. I try and find each athlete prior to them,
Perfect.
Heading down the track.
That is what literally before I go, every race day, I always find Coach Fogt and I go, okay, how many steps do you want me to go after? Even though I know, but I have to go up to him before every race and be like, okay, how many steps do you want me to go? He tells me, and then I'm good.
Wow.
I'm good to go.
You need to know it.
I have to do that every time.
Fascinating. I love that.
Yeah.
Even you two are learning things this morning off each other. There you go.
We are.
That works. That's what we do in this show. A song that is on every one of your pre-competition playlists, no matter what.
Ooh.
I can go first. So mine is Hell and Back by Kid Ink. So
okay. I
kind of played that. It's a really good one. I got back from Iraq. That was kind of my theme song, having done some things that other people had not done. I'd been through some other stuff. So it kind of gave me that mental toughness and that confidence going forward that I could basically do anything, having been to, hell and back.
I like that. I like that it worked.
I listen to a lot of different songs, but it's like always kind of like champion songs. So like Champion by like Kanye West. Definitely has to be in the list.
Good songs.
But yeah.
I like that. I secretly do this to build playlists as well, that, I can just build the Olympians playlist eventually that we can share on Spotify or something along those lines. The most unexpected or funny direct message that you have ever gotten. Now, I'm intrigued, Chris, because you obviously were at a part where like social media was sort of coming into play, of course, around 2010 and onwards. I don't know how much you would get back then, but, either of you sort of get any interesting ones over the years?
Okay, I would say an interesting one. Like, okay, so sometimes when I'm in certain spots, I'll like take do a story, an Instagram story, and I'll say like hello, and maybe that language of that country, like bonjour, but I don't really know the language like that. And so someone DM'd me and they started they gave me a whole sentence of just a whole completely different language. I'm like, I have no idea what to say. But I mean, I feel like I kind of set myself up for that. So yeah, I guess that was kind of.
Yeah. Do you use a translate to see what they're saying to make sure that they're not being like a bit, That
one I did not translate, but
you probably should.
I probably should have.
Yeah, we find some very interesting answers to this question. So there's some weird people out there. That's all I'm putting it out there.
And I'm actually opposite. Because I'm always trying to recruit people. And so I spend a lot of my times doing that myself. So I'm sure there's a lot of stories of me with girls and guys from track and field, like, who's this bobsled coach trying to come to Lake Placid, New York? Like, this is obviously spam. So I send a lot of those out. So I'm probably on the receiving end or the, end of these stories where I slide into a lot of, of those.
I love the fact that Usain Bolt's probably sitting there looking at his DMs going, who's asking me to go to Lake Placid, as if I would do that?
Yeah, I reached out to Sha'Carri Richardson, Gabby Thomas. I reached out to Fred, like a bunch of people on track and field side, and I got a few responses back.
Noah Lyles is there sitting there staring at his inbox going like, no, what? Lake Placid is cold.
If he's listening, come try out here in about 3 months or so.
Go on, Noah. There you go. Add to your tally there. I love that. The weirdest thing that both of you have ever eaten at an international competition, and did you like it?
Weirdest thing?
I love this question.
Oh my God. Well, it's not weird, but I do not like it. I do not like curry. I do not like curry.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What's it about curry that you don't like?
I don't know if it's the turmeric spice or something. I just don't like. I can like smell it a mile away.
Okay.
And crazy enough, this stuff they give a lot of curry, and so I'm like, ooh.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a curry fan, Chris?
No, growing up poor, and I've lived overseas a bunch of times. I pretty much eat whatever you put in front of me. But when we had games, as you mentioned, 2014, eating borscht and a couple other things, just that food from Russia was definitely unique and unacquired taste. Because when you go out to eat, you don't ever hear of like Russian restaurants. Like there's Mexican restaurants, Italian restaurants, French restaurants. You don't ever hear of a Russian restaurant. And probably for a good reason. And so the food over there was not the best.
Well, I love asking this question because we find out some unique cultures of food in different countries. I mean, China and Norway are the two most common we get in this question. But you're right, like you don't often hear like, hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? Let's go out and get some Russian,
Yes.
You probably just go to your local... Yeah,
exactly.
You probably go to your local pharmacy and just buy a bunch of drugs. That's probably what Russian is, let's be honest. Speaking of food, your ultimate guilty pleasure meal after a big competition.
I already know yours. Bags of candy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I really like sour candy.
Okay.
And Coach Bo was like, you guys got to stop eating the candy. You have to have like healthier sweet. But I still go for it.
They all claim the candy in Europe isn't as they don't have the food dyes in it. They say it's not as healthy here in Europe, and that's their excuse. But
it's healthier.
They
better for you.
Quite a bit of candy.
Okay, I've never heard candy described as healthier in part, but we'll go with that. So You're from the home of candy.
I
America's the home of candy. Come on, like that's where you got to get it, right? Every time I've been there, it's like load me up with all the candy. Let's go.
Yeah. But it tastes different in Europe. Just like McDonald's in Europe. It tastes different. I love the McFlurry. McFlurry in Europe. From McDonald's?
There's a McFlurry in the US. You have that as well, don't you? Or does it just taste different in Europe, is it? Yeah.
Yes, we have McFlurry in the US too, but it tastes different in Europe, and like they add fudge and they have the cookie crumbles, it's the Oreo cookie. It's good.
You know, I love that fact that like I feel you get chastised if you go to a McDonald's and you're overseas. You're like, oh, you can get McDonald's anywhere. But like it is that level of not only does it taste different, but every McDonald's has unique menu items in different countries. Like we have things in Australia that you can't get. When I go to the US, you have things in the US that I can't get in Australia. Like it's just a thing that you've got to try. If you go to any Asian countries, some of the food they have at Asian McDonald's, you're like, what the hell is this? It's amazing. So like, you know, there's a whole culture out there of McDonald's. And the disappointing thing is, Chris, actually, did you have McDonald's at your Olympics? Because they would have been still sponsors back during when you were at the Olympics, right? They're not anymore.
They were still a sponsor. We ate so many snack wraps. Snack wraps was the going thing. And we ate like 8 of those a day. And that's probably why they are no longer a sponsor. The bobsled team cleaned them out.
We had a swimmer in Athens, Justin Norris, who set the record of most chicken nuggets at an Olympics. He ate, I can't remember if it was 60 or 80. He did something stupid. And there was another athlete who tried to beat that at Beijing, and it didn't happen. So it's sad. It's sad that Azaria, you won't get to experience McDonald's at the Olympic Village because it's just not a sponsor anymore.
It was so good, though.
Yeah. Was that your guilty pleasure, Chris? Was it McDonald's?
Yeah, I think it's at the Village, and there was some other food there, but yeah, it was just nice to have a little taste from home. You know, because I had a games in Canada, games in Russia, and a games over in Korea. So it definitely was kind of nice occasionally, not each meal. I was a high performance athlete.
Yep.
As I'm here with my athlete now. I only ate clean food all the time, but occasionally we'd go in there and have, you know, those. It was nice just to, you know, to have it.
Here's actually a question on cuisine. Here's an interesting one. I've never got to ask this question before. I know in the US, every state kind of has their own unique, like every state I've been to, I always ask, like, what's the unique thing you guys have? And you're from Utah, if I'm not mistaken, Chris. And I seem to remember in Utah when I was there, they were very proud of fry sauce, which was what?
Fry sauce?
Yeah.
And green jello.
And green jello. I didn't get to experience that, but the fry sauce, so it's ketchup and mayonnaise, isn't it? That's what fry sauce is.
It sounds simple, but it tastes delicious.
It is. Yeah. It's pretty bloody good. I will say that. It's amazing. The thing that blew my mind when I was in Salt Lake City is that the first ever KFC is in Salt Lake City. It's not in Kentucky. It's in Salt Lake City. That blew my mind.
It is very random. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And California, Azaria, like, am I just thinking In-N-Out burger? Is that just your staple? That's what everybody's proud of there?
Burger. I love In-N-Out. It's so good.
Yeah. It's
that's our thing. It's only on the West Coast. Yeah. In-N-Out is definitely unique to California.
They had, I think at the Las Vegas Grand Prix just on the weekend, at the time of recording this, they had a In-N-Out burger station, which I was at the Las Vegas Grand Prix last year. They didn't have it then. So I'm like, well, that's disappointing. So everybody was talking about in the paddock going up and getting free In-N-Out burger.
Get In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the hard things about just real quick about our sport, talking about cuisine is like for Specialist Hill here, she's not going home until the game. So we flew here November 4th and we don't come home because we have races. We have to qualify and compete.
Wow.
So we'll be eating food over here in Europe for the next 3 months or so.
Well, we're recording this basically a day before Thanksgiving. So essentially the team, you're coming together to sort of have like an Austrian Thanksgiving while you're sort of over there.
We'll probably have curry and chicken nuggets again.
Yeah. I will not have any problem making weight.
And Azaria's like, no, I'm not doing Thanksgiving this year. I'll stick to my candy, basically, going that way. That's obviously challenging, though, obviously, you know, this time of year and then Christmas and things like that. But it's the end goal, I guess, is worth it, isn't it? You're doing it for a reason, right?
It is worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pushing towards that goal. If you could swap sports for a day with another Olympian, what event would you choose and how do you think you would fare?
Ooh.
I feel like track and field's the obvious one here, but, you know, like you maybe
I was gonna say something track and
you
field.
could do boxing as well, like your dad. I don't know. Like, how would you go in the ring?
Yeah, I've never boxed. I've done like a boxing workout,
Okay.
but I've never like gotten in the ring to spar or anything like that. But I have like had the opportunity to see like my dad train and be at one of his matches when he was like finishing up. And
Wow.
I just stayed in the hotel. Crazy. I didn't want to see him get hit. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But no, like my dad was really great boxer in his time. So it's like cool to see like YouTube videos of him boxing and stuff like that. I guess I would try boxing, see if I could be good like him since I already tried track. So
yeah. Give the dad side a go. That works.
Yeah, my dad would be my coach. He could teach me everything. Like, be perfect.
You've lost your job, Chris, all of a sudden.
Yeah. I would probably go with modern pentathlon, as weird as that sounds.
No, that is not weird. That is great. That is like my favorite summer sport. I love it. Yes. I love that.
A history, General Patton actually competed at the Olympics in 1912.
Yeah.
And it goes back to those military roots of having to ride a horse, to sword fight, to shoot, to swim and run. I think, and just being able to be I don't think they get enough credit for how versatile
100%.
those athletes are.
100%.
Being able to ride a horse at the Olympic Games would be very, very cool.
The only time I got to see it in Paris, I went to the fencing ranking round, which was just insane to see how quick they would have to have like a bout and then basically take off the thing, have a bit of water and go to the next match. It was just, and to keep up with it, because we had one Australian athlete and I'm going like, where is she? There's like 100 of them going on a mat. It was insane.
They're swimming, they're sprinting. Exactly. It's a lot.
It was incredible. And that's why in winter sports, I love Nordic combined, because you're basically ski jumping and then you cross country skiing. I think they should add biathlon. I think it should be like 3 sports. So then you could have cross country, shoot, and then the ski jump. But I also think it would be fun if once they ski jump, rather than having a break, they should have to ski jump, take off the skis and straight away get into the cross country. Like, get in it. Let's add bobsled. Let's do winter modern pentathlon. So then you got to jump off the skis.
All together.
Just keep going. It's just like relay, shove them on the curling rink, throw some stones.
And at the very end, you curl. Exactly. That's
then
perfect.
you put on the gear and you play a game of hockey. Simple. Like that would be perfect, I think. Brisbane 2032, those Winter Olympics, that works well. If your Olympic journey were a movie, what would the title be and who would play you? And we always get help for this one, and I've actually combined this one to include both of you today.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever get any doppelgangers that either of you sort of have said that you look like for actors or anything along those lines in the past.
I get 1 or 2.
Okay. Who do we get?
I get Daniel Craig, although he's older than me.
I see it. Yeah, all right. That's not a bad one at all. Mr. Bond. All
no,
right.
And then I get when I was a little bit heavier and stronger, I got Dolph Lundgren from Rocky IV.
I see both. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. You can start calling him Coach Bond there, Azaria. You can just do that moving forward. I like that. Have you ever been compared to anyone at all, Azaria, like in terms of, people, doppelgangers?
I mean, I think I have, but I just don't remember like who.
That's all right. You can just,
that's a good one.
The dream actress that could play that. But in terms of titles, so I go to ChatGPT because, I'm lazy apparently, and get some titles. They didn't give me very good ones, but the one that they gave me, which I went with, because I like to make up a mock poster. So they've said Frozen Legacy, because I think that kind of like, ties both of you in. And I've asked them to do a poster, and I had to get them to include a certain hype man in it. So our audio listeners, go to our YouTube channel right now. So let's hold this up. This is what they've done. Frozen Legacy. And there's Flavor Flav.
That is cool.
He's
that is cool.
Pointing out.
Frozen Legacy.
There's a silver medal around your neck there, which I don't actually know what they've put on the silver medal there. That's not going to probably go into focus there.
Like a pentagram or something, a goat head?
I don't actually know what that is.
It seems a little dark there, Ben.
It is. And you've got
be like a military star or something at least.
Flavor Flav's right over your shoulder there. He's loving life,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And look at that. There you go. There's the just chilling there and looking forward to the future.
I hope that's accurate. From one, military athlete who won a silver medal. I hope that's what, happens to her, 3 months from now.
Yeah, exactly. We all hope. We're fingers crossed with that one. Our final two, the one question that you're tired of being asked, and what is the one that you wish people would ask you instead?
Ooh.
I always get scared for this one because generally it's probably a question I've already asked you in this interview that you're tired of being asked. And then I'm like, well, I need to rethink my questions.
One question I don't like being asked, and I don't mind talking about Cool Runnings, but they always ask, have you seen Cool Runnings? And it's like, obviously we've seen Cool Runnings. Like, can you imagine being in our sport and never watching Cool Runnings?
The way you said it though, Chris, I will add, because you sort of like, you said your age, and then Azaria, you're like, you're born after the movie's released, right? So like, at least you and I, Chris, are of an age where we were kids, and now it's like, shit, we're so old that people might not have seen it. So, It'd
be different if you asked a random person, but you're asking someone who's been to the Olympics. True. I coached you as, hey, have you ever seen this movie? Like, yes, I've been in the sport for 20 years. I've seen the one bobsled movie that exists about our sport. Just if you want to ask a question about it, don't ask if we've actually watched it before.
I'm feeling very self-conscious now about my next bobsled athlete I interview, Chris. So I'll take that. Thank you. Is there one that like you wish people would ask you instead, like both of you, that sort of like, be it based on your bobsledding careers, even your military careers, is there something that like you'd like to talk about more and you wish people maybe would ask you a little bit more about?
I guess for me, I wish more people asked me about I guess more of my story of like my journey, like getting into, athletics and, trying to make the Olympic team, Winter Olympic team and stuff like that, because I do come from a background of 2 Olympians that are my parents. And so like, I think people automatically, think that like, oh, she has to be an Olympian, or like, I get that comparison. And so like, I do like to put out there, I don't like really bring it up as much, but then sometimes I have started getting more comfortable, like talking about my parents being Olympians and doing their sport. But I just feel like there's kind of a little bit of that like pressure of like, oh, like, okay, well, what about you? Like, where are you at? Where do you stand in that? So it's like, but I do welcome that, that, I guess pressure that I stand on, really, excellent shoulders of, I'm able to just have that background, and I appreciate that. But I don't know. I guess there's just kind of that comparison that I'm like, I'm my own person. I'm building my own legacy. I'm, paving my own path. So, and that's really why I'm like really excited about this sport too, and how it kind of came into fruition for me. So
I think I'm learning that I need to ask this question at the beginning of an interview, so then I don't ask these questions moving forward. You really help me learn. But it's not annoying
for me. I appreciate like talking about my family and my background and stuff like that too. But there is, when you do come from a family that has been super successful in athletics,
you're your own athlete. You're your own person. You're
comparison.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Exactly.
But
I'll take it. I like it. That works. The last one I'll have for you both. The one lesson you've both learned from losing that has shaped you more than winning. The deep question to close it out on. Yeah. Get in hard.
I feel like just never giving up and just being resilient.
Mm-hmm. That works.
Yeah, I think that's another one, is just resiliency. I mean, in every sport, whether you're Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or any great athlete, Usain Bolt, there's going to be days where you win and days where you lose, but it's really about it's what you do with those losses and how you overcome those. And so I think that's so important for kids and athletes to know, is that every day you will see the very end result. Oh, they're talented. They're like naturally gifted, but it's so much work goes into that. And they had to be so mentally tough to get up every day and do things they did not want to do. Because there's often days where we don't want to go out. Yesterday our car got stuck. We're out putting chains on our trucks with bobsleds in the back, trying to get to training. Hands are freezing, but you do things that you don't want to do. You train when you're tired. And so I think that mental toughness and resiliency is just so crucial for sports, so crucial for life. And again, that's why I think one of the reasons we have an edge, just going through what we've been through in the military and now doing sport, those things go hand in hand. It definitely has made us become more successful athletes.
That's why I'm saying you don't need Flavor Flav. You got that all on board. You know, like you know all that. And it works well, but that's why we love asking that question at the end to kind of hear that. Guys, it's been such an honor and a privilege to hear your stories and learn about things and moving forward. If people want to follow your journeys in between now and the Olympics, social media, you know, plug whatever you like here right now so people can sort of stay up to date with everything with yourselves and Team USA, of course, as well, moving forward.
Well, thank you for having me. But my Instagram handles is Azaria_Hill. Pretty much the same thing for TikTok, but I'm not really on TikTok.
I was going to ask, I always ask a TikTok question. So, you know, are you on TikTok, Chris? You on the TikTok train?
Way too old for that train. But you can also follow us at Go Army. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out from GoArmy.com. And then just Team USA, like you said, our bobsled, United States bobsled and skeleton. We post some very cool stuff. And again, just the excitement of our sport. A lot of people, you only watch it every 4 years, but we race all the time. We have races in Austria. We're going to Norway and Latvia. We have phenomenal athletes. It's a fast sport. There's crashing, there's speed, there's winning. It's dramatic. So please watch us over these next, 3 months.
Well, we'll all be tuned in to watch it and wishing you all the best of luck. And we will obviously get you back on afterwards to talk about the journey and the experience and have some nice gold bling around the necks after we've beaten the Germans, right? That's what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
That's right.